January was a month of highs and lows reading-wise. While I got a 5-star read, there were a couple lower-rated reads as well. Hi guys, let's talk books. Before I talk about 5 books I have read in January, let's quickly fill in the rest of this calendar. This is where I mark which days I have read certain books. I write the title in there, and if the book was not finished that month, I write in there the percentage I have read as well, which makes it so much easier to figure out my stats for both current and the following month. I have set up this cover page in one of my last journal vlogs. There is a link to it in the top right corner if you'd like to see the process. I am trying different style of wrap-up videos this year instead of working on the cover page. As you can see, it is already done. First, I am going to talk about all books I have finished in January. Then I will fill out all the monthly and yearly trackers and challenges. And then I will work on the next month's cover page. So in the next video, I can once again start with book reviews. First book I have finished this year is The Raven Scholar, and it is also a 5-star read. How amazing is that? This book was released last year and there were so many people who loved it. Me being not always on the side of majority when it comes to books, I was not sure if I would enjoy it as much as everyone else did, so I was slightly apprehensive, but the description sounded too good to not give it a chance, and I am so glad I did. This is a story about competition for a throne where 7 people, one from each house or clan, are doing their best to defeat the others and become the next ruler. But one of the contenders gets murdered just before the tournament starts, and the king's high scholar, who is not very popular, has to figure out what happens. There is magic, there are intrigues, there are mysteries, secrets, friendships, political scheming. There is a bit of everything, but it all comes together at the end. There were parts I had absolutely no idea what was coming next, and I was pleasantly surprised every single time. The author is pulling strings behind the scenes, and everything, even seemingly randomly mentioned, was mentioned for a reason. There were so many characters, and it was sometimes difficult to figure out who was who, but the plot was constantly moving and engaging. There was not a moment when I would get bored, which for me is quite rare, guys. Also, I can't forget to mention some very descriptive, violent sections. There were not many, but definitely packed a punch. This book is what I have been missing in the fantasy genre for the past couple of years, and I can't wait for the sequel. For the decoration, I am using a tape with black birds and feathers that I have shown you in my recent stationery haul. Then there are purple flowers to match the book cover, and as a background I have chosen this cream and black patterned paper. This big raven is from Canva. It's from one of their designs, and the fox I add at the end is not really matching with the other decoration, but it is important to the story, so I put it there anyway. I was not really sure about how I did the title, and I still don't know if I like how it looks, but the spread is finished and I am quite happy with how it turned out, just as I am with the next one. The Knight and the Moth is an example of popular book not really being for me. I have seen so many people rave about this book, and even though I am not a big romantasy fan, I gave it a go because I was interested in the story. Sybil is a dreamer. She drowns in foul and rotting water to receive visions from omens that can help her predict terrible things before they occur to whoever pays for her services. The main love interest is, of course, very rude and extremely handsome knight, and she has no other choice but to work with him, trying to save diviners who have started to vanish one by one. I loved the moody, kind of damp, gothic and even creepy atmosphere. The writing felt so fairy tale-like. And then there was Bartholomew, the gargoyle, who brought in great humor. I lived for his observations. The story unfolded kind of like a TV series in episodes. First we met these people, then we go there, and then this happens and that. I was not a fan, but I did my best to enjoy the adventure. even when so much did not make any sense. We have a girl living 10 years behind the walls of the cathedral, kind of content with her life, even when maybe not exactly happy. And she, out of the blue, decides to have some fun and attend a weed smoking party in the village with her fellow diviners. They act like hormonal teenage girls and not like deeply respected future tellers or whatever the author tried so hard to persuade us about in the first few chapters. And couple chapters later, our main character is thrown into big quest for some magical objects that frankly resembles a Pokemon hunt. The so-called romance was my least favorite part of the story. If you copy-pasted these two characters and their dialogues into any other fantasy romance book, you would not even know they do not belong there. They were flat, uninteresting, and not even remotely unique to this world. They hated each other and then suddenly could not live without one another, nothing in between. Plus, he kept saying stuff that was quite off-putting, and I kept disliking him more and more. I know this is a harsh review, but I am not going to say I liked this book when I did not. There were some redeeming parts though, like Bartholomew, the first couple of atmospheric pages, and the book cover is absolutely gorgeous. As a decoration, I put this stone PET tape all around the page to create this closed up or even oppressive atmosphere of the cathedral the diviners were living in, and then I added a few blue stickers around the page to match with the cover, and then the stone hands. I really like how those look on the page. Next, let's talk about my best friend's Exorcism. I had a craving for some good exorcist story, and based on the title and the reviews, I chose this book. This is a highly nostalgic story, especially for people born in 80s America. It is a story about high school girls. The author tells us about their whole past, from the first meeting through dance parties in the bathroom to the present days. And after a party where drugs were involved, Gretchen gets lost in the woods, and when she is found, she does not act the same. Her behavior is more and more strange, and only one of her friends thinks she might be possessed and decides to help her even when her future or even life might be in danger. There were so many 80s references and I did not understand everything, me being born in the 90s and not in America, but it was still mostly enjoyable to read even when I sometimes had to roll my eyes. But this book made me remember all of these American TV shows that were playing in our TV when I was younger. The writing was very good. It really felt like I was transported back in time, and the story went from happy teenage girls enjoying their lives to weird but kind of typical demonic possession. It was very well described, the desperation, exhaustion, and hopelessness, but at times it felt repetitive and too drawn out. I was still waiting for that exorcism and it was not coming until it did, and it was not what I expected. It was tense, creepy, and slightly disturbing until it wasn't, and I am both amazed by the way author decided to go with the exorcism, but also I am not sure I like it. I got a great chuckle out of it at least. The book cover was a big inspiration for this page. On the side I placed these thin washi tapes of different colors, trying to match the stripes on the cover as best as I could, and then I created a border from the purple one. The story is mostly about friendship of two girls, Gretchen and Abby, so I put two girl stickers at the bottom, and then I filled the opposite corner with the title. I was not sure whether to use these colorful letters, but it turned out so good. Let's flip to the next page and talk about two more books I finished in January. The first one is 9 Lives, Zero Paperwork. It is an arc I got from Book Sirens. When I was setting up my 2026 reading journal, I said I would like to read some more arcs, and honestly, I did not think I would read one so soon. But this novella sounded really fun and interesting, and I wanted to give it a try as soon as I finished reading the synopsis. That said, This book has a particular style of humor that not everyone will like, so if you don't like first couple of sentences or even how the synopsis is written, you won't like the book more later, but if you do, you're in for a ride. The story starts with Brantley, a cat, cruising in the vacuum when he hits the windshield of Jarek's spaceship. Jarek decides to save Brantley and all hell breaks loose after that. He becomes an unwilling partner in crime and has no other option but to go with the flow of Brantley's absolute chaos. There is also a corgi detective. I just love that so much. And there is a sentient paperclip and a mayonnaise as a character as well. The depiction of the cat is so on point. It gives Garfield vibes in a Terry Pratchett novel. It is crazy, entertaining, fun, and you never know what the next sentence will be. I was surprised so many times and I chuckled a lot. And I don't do that. The story is quite simple, so it is a very quick read, but the ending felt slightly repetitive. Overall, it was an interesting and fun read. I would recommend this to children, parents, cat ladies, and people who can appreciate this type of humor. The main star of this section of the page are these space rocks with beautiful hollow effect, a space cat, and I had these small corgi stickers, so I took the opportunity to put one on the page as well. And the last book I finished in January is The Last Unicorn. One of my friends mentioned she is going to read this book and I decided to join since this is a fantasy fairy tale classic. It was a magical story about unicorn going on an adventure, trying to find others of her kind. There are wizards, there is a circus, an evil king, cursed village, a lonely tower near the sea, bandits, noble prince, everything you expect to find in a fairy tale. The first, maybe third of the book was, for some reason, very difficult for me to read. I just could not understand some of the sentences, even when I knew what the individual words meant. It was so confusing and I almost quit. But then, a few weeks later, I gave it one more chance and it was slightly easier to read then. I have no idea if I was just tired or what when I first opened this book, or if there really are some weird parts, but I am so glad I gave it another go. This was definitely one of the more enjoyable classics I have read. It was enchanting, funny, but also quite depressing. I used this washi tape with beautiful scenery in here and I am not sure where I got it from, but I will do my best to link everything used on these pages in the description below. I put some birds on top of the washi tape and in the corner I put this amazing black and white princess sticker with gold details because it reminded me of some of the scenes from the book. Those are all book reviews for today. Let's flip to the beginning of this journal and let's fill out all the monthly and yearly trackers. The first one is a reading goal, and in here I do color in a box for every single book I have finished. And since I have finished 5 books in January, I will color in 5 boxes. 3, 4 and 5. Next we have a space for book covers of all books I have finished. And as you can see, all of them are already prepared and I have written down all of the book reviews already, just so I won't waste time while filming. So the first book I have finished is The Raven Scholar. I'm going to try this new glue I recently got and I hope it will work. We'll see in a few days if the book covers will come loose or not. Okay, next one was The Knight and the Moth, and then The Last Unicorn. Next I finished 9 Lives, 0 Paperwork, and the last one was My Best Friend's Exorcism. Okay, now next page is for reading statistics, and as you can see I have already filled all of this out. One of the most interesting statistics for me is pages I read per day. And in January, I have read on average 65 pages per day, which is quite okay. It is not as much as some months last year, but 65 is still great, and my average rating was 3.8, which is not the best but also not the worst. Like, most of these books were quite okay. I am so excited for these pages because now we are going to be coloring in all of these boxes. This is set up in a way that I will color in one box for one book, preferably in the order I have finished them, but if I somehow mess it up, it is totally okay. The first read was fantasy mostly, and also there was some mystery in there as well, and that is this green color. So I will color in 2 squares for fantasy and 1 for mystery as subgenre or something like that. Next one was fantasy romance. I will color in 1 square for fantasy because I feel like there was more romance than fantasy. And me choosing neon green color for romance is kind of a weird choice, but that's fine. Next we had a classic, and that's this deep red color. Okay. Fourth book, that was a humor leaning, and I do not have a humor section in here, so I will color in the other for that one. And the fifth book was a horror, so let's color that in. I absolutely love that we have so many different colors in here. So that means I was reading different genres and I am so excited about that. Now we have books by length. The Raven Scholar, that was 646 pages. So I'm going to use this blue color. Books 2, 3 and 5 were all between 300 and 400 pages. So The Knight and the Moth, The Last Unicorn and My Best Friend's Exorcism. And the Ark was a novella, so that was under 200 pages. And that's this cute pink color. This is starting to look very similarly to my last year's tracker. It looked quite different, but my most read books were also between 300 and 500 pages long. So I am still on track with that. Next, I am going to color in boxes based on year the book was published. Raven's Color and Knight and the Moth were published last year. And I have used the wrong marker, so I'm going to cover that with the darker one. At least I have used a lighter marker first. The Last Unicorn was published in 1968. So that's between 1951 and 2000, and there goes this purple color. 9 Lives, Zero Paperwork was not released yet, but it will be released February 21st, I think. So by the time you are watching this video, it is already out. So I'm choosing marker for 2026, and that's this lovely green color. And the last book I finished was published in 2016, and that's this yellow one. We have again some variety, which I really like. And next there are books by rating. I am hoping to get as many 4 and 5 stars as possible, but not all of them were that enjoyable for me. So the first one, yeah, it was a 5-star. Having a 5-star book as your first read of a year is always so amazing. Okay, next we had 2.5. That was not as amazing, but it happens. I also had 2 3.5 star books, and then I had 4.5. Now that I look at these colors, because I have chosen them randomly when I was setting these pages up, so maybe I could have used purples and pinks for higher rated books and yellows for lower rated books, so the decoration would also help me realize that yes, the books that are purple and pink are higher rated, but I will know for the next year. I can still look in here and see what's what, so that's fine. Also, this is my first month of filling out these pages, so I'm kind of all over the place, not being sure what to do, and that's fine. I will get into the swing of things for sure. I have read one classic, so let's put that in here. Now for the series tracker, I'm going to use the same marker as I did for the reading goal in here. I'm going to color in the legend. I don't think I have finished anything from this list, but I have written down the Eternal Trilogy, and that's the Raven's Color. I have read the first book of the series, and so far there are no more books in that series, so I can't really continue that. And I'm not going to note anything in here about the book not being released yet. I will do all of that at the end of the year, because anything can happen. There can be new book, but we just don't know about it yet. So I am going to keep it like that. I have read more books that were part of a series, especially The Knight and the Moth, but I don't think I'm going to continue the series, so I'm not going to write it in here. Also, The Last Unicorn, there are a few more books in that series as well, and I am not going to continue that either, so it is not going to be written in here. Next we have Read My Shelf. I have not read any books of my shelf. I have also not read any of my Libro FM purchases. I have to say that in February it is totally different story. I have read a few from here, but not in January. And now this is my list of Audible books, and I have finished 3 of those. And it's My Best Friend's Exorcism, Knight and the Moth, and Raven's Color. It was absolutely not planned for them to be right next to each other. Okay, books bought. You can see I fill out 2 of these books, and these are Moth and the Truth. 2 books from the Discworld series. If you have watched my reading challenges videos, you know that I am trying to read all Discworld books, but also collect all of them, and that is an adventure for many years. So I am very slowly buying a couple of books here and there to fill out the collection. Okay, nothing was on hold. And I have 1 book for Hall of Fame, and that is none other than the Raven's Color. So let's put that in. Oh, I love that these pumpkins match the title. Yeah, that's so fun. Next we have favorite quotes, and I am not going to write in here a quote from every single book, but just from something here and there. And for January I have written 2 quotes. The first one is: "A cat, Brantley style swished, with opinions and skills and a flexible relationship with physics." That's from the 9 Lives Zero paperwork. I am writing the book number in here. The book number is basically the order I finished the books in, and I write that in the calendar as well. I was not doing that last year, but I did that in 2024, and I am bringing that back for 2026. And the next quote is, okay, this might be a spoiler, so if you don't want to get spoiled in any of the books, I advise you to skip 20 seconds ahead or something, because there might be spoilers in here and on this spread as well, so just skip ahead. So the quote is: "By the power of Phil Collins, I rebuke you." That was so weird, and I have no idea if I like that or not, so I just put it in there. Okay, and now for books in 1 sentence. Just as I was going to write all of this down, I have decided that I am going to write these as the episode titles of Friends. So The One With or The One Where. And I have written them in order I finished all those books. So I have the one with the Conspiracy of Ravens, the one with a gargoyle, the one with a lilac forest, the one where paper clips have souls, and the one with Phil Collins, of course. Okay, now for the places I have visited, I have written down the Stonewater Kingdom for the Knight and the Moth, Empire of Orun for the Raven Scholar, and Charleston for my best friend's Exorcism. Okay, I have finished nothing from my 26 in 2026 list. And for the rainbow, we have a couple of book covers we can put in. The first one is, of course, Raven Scholar, because there is no more purple book than this one. So I'm going to apply the glue. And I am going to add my best friend's Exorcism for navy, because a pretty big chunk of this cover is blue. So I think I can use it in here. I have also seen people filling in these colors when there was just a tiny bit of that color on the cover. I am trying to avoid that, but we'll see by the end of the year what I will have to do. But so far I think this is pretty good. I have also written 9 Lives Zero Paperwork for teal. I think it would be okay to use that cover, but I will try to find something better for this color. If there won't be anything better by the end of the year, I will put the 9 Lives Zero Paperwork in there. Okay, next A to Z challenge, and this is January, so of course we are going to fill in a lot of these, and let's do this randomly. So I have filled in N, L, K, R, and I have also filled in M, but I have forgotten to print the book cover for that one. I have written it here for now, and I will fill that in next month. Also, as you can probably tell, I am ignoring D and A in the titles. If something better suited appears during the year, so there is no D or A at the beginning of the title, I might cover this over, but I'm not going to make a big deal of that. This was pretty successful. Now next we have book bingo, and I am so excited about this one. This is slightly different bingo board than you are maybe used to. I have made this one based on Manda Mate's bingo board from 2025 because I really liked what she did with hers. So in here I have different prompts. Manda is writing in here the book titles, but I do not want to commit to reading certain books. I would rather complete all the prompts, so I'm going with prompts. And behind these black washi tapes, there are individual spaces of the bingo written down. So once I figure out I have read for some of these prompts, I will uncover that and put the book cover in the corresponding space. Let's just do the first one. I'm going to put the Knight and the Moth for the gorgeous cover, because even when I was not the biggest fan of this book, the cover is absolutely stunning. So let's see, for the gorgeous cover we have B3. So this is B and this is 3. So I will put the book cover in there. Next I have a classic, and that's right here. So that's G5, and that's in here. I am also going to fill out the 5-star read with the Raven Scholar, and that's O2, and that is in here. Okay, so we are all over the board. I really love that, and thank you to, I don't remember who you were, but you told me to use audiobook covers for this bingo, and thank you so much. That was such a genius idea. Okay, next we have reading in pixels, and as you can see I have already filled both of these in. This one is for all of my audiobooks, and as you can tell I am listening to audiobook every single day, and I have done that for, I think it's past 2 years. I am almost on a 1,000-day streak with my book reading, so that's pretty exciting. And down here I have the legend, and You can see that I have not spent too much time a day on audiobooks. I think the day I listened to the audiobooks for the longest time was, I think it was January 4th, and I had like 240 minutes there. So that's a pretty big number. And here I am marking all the physical and digital books, and I don't read those every single day, so this page will be more sparse. I think that's totally fine. And all of these dots are when I finished a book, and I am marking audiobooks on this side and digital and physical books on this side. Okay, next I can fill in this ARCs tracker, and that's 9 Lives, 0 Paperwork. And that's basically it for all of my monthly and yearly trackers in this journal. There is also my reading challenges journal. No, we are not done yet, guys. So in here I am going to quickly fill in all of the yearly challenges, and I'm going to start with A Year of Goober. We have 2 prompts to choose from, and I have read first book in a series, and that's the Raven's Color. And I have printed this teeny tiny book cover for that, because there is not that much space in here. So let's put that in here. Okay, next is my buzzword reading challenge. And there are quite a few prompts I was able to fill in. I have said this already, but I am not going to be filling this in based on the month, but whenever I fulfill a prompt, I will put a book cover in here. Let's see the title prompts, and I'm going to use the Raven's Color for occupations. And oh my god, I'm going to cover in those beautiful flowers, but there is nothing I can do about that. Then I have My Best Friend's Exorcism for me and my. And the Last Unicorn for ordinal numbers. I googled, and Google said last is ordinal number, so I'm going with that. And for the cover prompts, I am going to use 9 Lives, 0 Paperwork for action, because this cat is falling down off the windshield. You can see the scratches, how she is like falling down. Also, this coffee cup is falling down. So that certainly is a moment or action. And then I have My Best Friend's Exorcism for damage on the cover. You can't really see that here, but all of the edges and mostly in here it looks damaged, so I'm going to put this book cover in here. There is one more prompt that I have written a book name in there, and that's Reflection, and I could use My Best Friend's Exorcism for that, because there are people in the water and there is their reflection, but I would like to find something better for that prompt. So for now I'm not going to put it in here, and also I'm going to do my best to use one book for one set of the prompts. Okay, and the last year-long challenge is Jellyfish Challenge, and I have also read for some of these prompts. And again, I have some books written in here that can be filled in if I won't find anything better. But for now, I am going to put Raven's Color for the Lion Mane Jellyfish book with an animal on the cover or in the title. I'm completing both the cover and title prompt with that one. For Immortal Jellyfish, the prompt is book with life or death in the title, and we have 9 lives, 0 paperwork. So let's put that one in. And the last one is Purple Striped Jellyfish book with pattern on the cover, and we have these stripes in here, so I'm going with that. Okay, so that was pretty successful. Let me get back into the reading journal. And now we are going to work on the February cover page. I am leaving this page blank, but I will put in here one of the books I have finished in February. It will probably be The Devils, because I have read like 80% of that book in January. So I will put the reading review in here because I don't like wasting my pages, but I also like when new month starts on new spread, so I can do my decoration in here and a calendar in here and book covers in here. I really like that layout for now, so I'm going to do that again. The calendar is done, and for the decoration I am going to use these washi tapes. I have been so excited about these two washi tapes since I got them, and I feel like February is perfect month for some pink stationery. My first thought is to use this long design on the bottom of the page. Oh, and look at that, the tape just fits. I was so prepared to be cutting out around the calendar, but it seems we are fine. Let's put this on the page. Perfect. One thing I will need to cut out is just this tiny white section on the top of the design. So I'm going to quickly do that. And now this tape. There are so many different designs, and instead of using this tape right now, I already have all of these designs in my reusable sticker book, and I love using the sticker book exactly for that, so I don't have to unroll the tape and look for designs when I can have everything just laid out in front of me. Well, mostly everything, because there are 3 pages of the designs, but it is definitely easier like this. Maybe we could use this lady in here. There are no other characters, and there is this pink girl from another washi tape, this one, but I am not sure how I would use her, because she would need to be like sitting in the grass or something. Let's try and use this girl, and then I will decide if I like that or not. And I could use this building in here as well. Well, maybe we could move this girl even more to the left. I'll put this down first and then this girl. Okay, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I want to see how this girl looks, and if it looks very weird when she is sitting somewhere here. So it's not that bad. Maybe I could have this on one side of her like that, and let's see this big arch, if I can put it somewhere around. I'm not sure it is big enough, but I want to see how it looks. Okay, so if I cut these green sections off and cover that with something else, I think this might work. So yeah, let's do that. I will keep those on the side. I might just put them somewhere on the page later. Or I can also take another arch and just elongate these sides. That might be nice. And there are also so many of these small bunnies, so maybe we could put those on the page as well. It does not really make sense, but they are adorable. So I want to have them on the page. Let's try these rocks to put in here. I like that. I will cut these green sections off from this tape. Let's try and cut off some of these purple columns, and hopefully my idea will work. Okay, that was kind of successful. I will cut the calendar out of these. There is this cute frog. Maybe, yeah, I'll put her here. Oh, she's adorable. And one more. Let's have her here, or maybe even on the flower. Like, this is not realistic, so I think this is adorable. Okay, let's add a flower in here to mask this white space. And I'm going to add a bunny to the space, because why not? One in here as well. For the top of this spread, this is a set, these two tapes, and there is a third one. And that's this beautiful pink and yellow sky, but I do not have that tape. My similarly colored sky tapes are these two, so maybe I could go with pink. Or maybe I was looking at these designs and I have similar tape. It's not exactly the same, but I have these. Maybe I could put this on top. I am not sure what to think about that. This is maybe too much. And the title. And this is option number 2. This is kind of blind when you compare it to this one. You know what, just let's go with it. Also, I have printed this February title and also this one with darker edges, but I feel like this is so much more fitting. It is not another big bold thing on the page, so I might go with that one. I want to put it almost at the top of the page, but I don't mind a bit of this white showing. Okay, perfect. This is certainly so far the most unique page I have made. Okay, let's cut out the calendar again. Okay, that is so crooked, but there is nothing I can do about it now. The title will be somewhere here. I can glue it on the page just so I don't forget. I am going to add a frog in here and yellow butterflies around. There are also some pink ones, so I'll use those as well. And maybe a bunny up here. I'll move this one to be kind of in the grass, in the hedges, and a butterfly in here, and this bunny will go here. So if you don't know he is there, you probably won't notice him, but I know he's there and he's making me happy. Let's add butterfly to this frog. This one already has a butterfly, so why not make another one like that? This side is finished. What about this one? This is a space where I will add all of the books I was reading during the month, but there is still a lot of space for decoration. Maybe we could put this fountain in there, or let's try this bridge. I really like how that looks. So let's see. Let's try maybe this waterfall. It maybe is not making any sense, but I don't really mind that. And I'll try and add this house in the background, just to fill up the page a bit more. Some of it will get covered with the book covers, so it does not matter as much what everything will be on this page. I want to try and use as many designs as possible. And let's put it behind this bridge as well. I think it's fine. Let's use these here on the side, and I'll do lots and lots of birds. I have some yellow birds. This would look really cute, so I'm going to do that. It's a perfect opportunity to use these yellow ones, since there are some yellow designs on the bottom of the page. I am sure these birds will fit beautifully in there. Like this. Okay, perfect. And some more of these black ones. Maybe a few on this side as well. And I'll put something pink on this side as well. There is one more pink butterfly, so let's use that in here. And a bunny on the bridge, because why not? Now I can start adding the book covers. Maybe I could fit 3 in here. There will be one more I have of course forgotten to print, as is happening quite often recently. I want to arrange them on the page so that the bunny is visible. I don't care about anything else basically. Well, also these birds would be really nice to see. This might be okay. And I'm going to move this yellow butterfly here and this one slightly higher so we could see those. You have a little sneak peek of what I'm going to talk about in the next month's reading wrap-up. And I have to admit, I have chosen A Court of Wings and Ruin only because it is pink. And I wanted to have something pink to match this decoration. It was the best opportunity to finally read that book. It's been more than a year since I read first 2 books in the Akotar series, and they are okay, but I so dislike Feyre that I really have a hard time reading those books. I have started yesterday. I got the audiobook and oh my god, she is insufferable. But I will persevere. I want to finish this book. Now that the book covers are here, let's add this book's red title. And the last thing to do is to add the numbers to the calendar. I have picked a few. We could use maybe these ones. These are pretty close in color. Then these ones, no, they don't look similar. The page and the decoration often looks so much different when it is done than when I am just looking at the stationery and figuring out what numbers to use. Also, I have these very pale ones. Maybe even those would be perfect. I am going to fill this calendar with pinks and purples. So maybe something more subtle could be nice. I am going to do just that. And there is this light pink color in the girl's dress, so I think it still matches. That's perfect. And once again, all of the stationery I have used today will be in the description below, but these numbers won't be there because the shop has closed last year, so I can't get any more of these. And I am so sad about that because these are my favorite number stickers. I have these colors, so I have 2 purples, 1 pink and 1 green. I'm going to mark in here 4 books because Court of Wings and Ruin I have just started yesterday and I would like to do the full line at the end of the month. And also with the another book I have forgotten to print the book cover for. I also started that one yesterday, so I'll add those later. The first book I have finished was Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I have spent quite a lot of time with this book in January, so I might do the review in here. Next one was Blood on Her Tongue. So that's the 7th book of the year for me. Next one is Green and that's To Clutch a Razor. And that one I will number 9 because there is one more I finished sooner. The last one I am marking today is Wild Dark Shore. Okay, perfect. That's done. Let's quickly look at my January pages once again. This is the cover page. And the book reviews start with Raven's Color. I adore how this page turned out and I like that I found a purple pen that I could use on this page. Next we have Night and the Moth. I again really like how this looks. I like this stone texture around the page because that was a big part of the atmosphere and I really like how that looks. My Best Friend's Exorcism, that looks so different from this one, but I adore this page as well. It is not my usual style, but I think it's adorable. and the last page is for these two books, and yeah, both of those are adorable as well. And this is the February spread. It is very green and very pink, and I am so happy with how this turned out. That is everything for today. Let us know in the comments what was your favorite or maybe a least favorite read of January, and if you'd like to see more book reviews and more decorated pages in my reading journal. Up here in the corner is my last reading wrap-up, and down here is my latest video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have absolutely a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one.